Ever wondered how many of the psychological studies we trust are truly reliable? Let's journey into a discovery that made the academic world think twice. In 2015, Brian Nosek of the University of Virginia spearheaded a major initiative named the Reproducibility Project. Collaborating with 270 researchers, the team set out to replicate 100 significant studies from high-ranking psychology journals. Surprisingly, only 47% of these studies could be successfully replicated. These results stirred major discussions about the credibility of psychology publications and has further amplified what we call the replication crisis. Today, I will be discussing why this crisis, according to Daniel Gilbert, psychologist from Harvard University, is greatly exaggerated. Nosek's study contained 3 fatal flaws. First, he set a replication failure rate benchmark at 8%, implying that the only change in the replication was the new samples from the same population. This wasn't true. Nosek's replications often varied from the originals, like using different populations or even altering procedures. For example, an original study asking Israelis about military service was replicated by asking Americans about honeymoons. When taking these infidelities into account, the accurate benchmark should have been closer to 34%, 4 times the initial benchmark. Let's zoom in on Nosek's second misstep, the puzzle of statistical power. Imagine attempting a challenging feat only once and expecting consistent success. That's precisely what happened with the Reproducibility Project, leading just to a 47% success rate. Contrast this to one of Nosek's earlier work, the Mini Labs Project, where he rolled the dice 36 times for each of the 13 studies, striking gold with an 85% success rate. Nosek's third flaw pertains to bias. Typically, infidelities are seen as random errors with an equal probability of affecting replication success either way. However, were the errors in Nosek's replication actually biased towards failure? As a measure of fidelity, Nosek's team sought endorsement for their replication methods from original study authors. Only 69% of them had agreed. Results showed that endorsed methods were 4 times more likely to succeed than non-endorsed ones. This suggests that the infidelities weren't merely random, but instead inclined replications towards failure. In all, while the pursuit of rigor and accuracy in psychological research is valued, metascience is not exempt from the rules of science. Nosek's study had multiple fatal flaws. 1. The use of a benchmark that did not take into account multiple sources of errors. 2. The low statistical power concerning the true rate of replication. And 3. The inclusion of biased infidelities in his work. These results have caused Nosek to seriously underestimate the reproducibility of psychological science. So what's the takeaway? Question everything, even the studies that question everything else.